Hello Year 2, how are you? And welcome to today's maths lesson. Now in our maths lesson yesterday, we moved on from 2D shapes, didn't we? And we started looking at 3D shapes, three-dimensional shapes. Now today we're going to be carrying on looking at 3D shapes by counting the number of faces that each of these shapes have. Now before we start counting the number of faces that these shapes have, let's warm up our brains with our flashback. So here's your flashback for today. You have 3 questions. In the first question, you have a pattern like you did in your flashback yesterday. And what you need to do is to continue this pattern. So which shape would come next in the pattern if you continued it? Then number 2, continue the sequence. So you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, and then you've got 2 missing numbers. So you need to decide, is this sequence counting forwards or backwards? And in steps of what? Once you've worked that out, can you fill in the 2 missing numbers? Then number 3, what is the sum? What is the total of 2, 3 and 8? Now there are 2 numbers here that are jumping out at me. Can you spot the 2 numbers that I'm talking about? And if you can you use this to help you answer this question? So pause the video now and have a go at your flashback. Okay, Year 2, so let's have a look at these questions together. Well, number 1, which shape comes next in the pattern? Well, let's have a look what we've got here. Well, we've got a rectangle to start with, and then we've got a pentagon because it has 5 sides. So we've got rectangle, pentagon, and then we've got another pentagon. So rectangle, pentagon, pentagon, and then we've got another rectangle. So this is our pattern here, isn't it? We've got rectangle, pentagon, pentagon, and then it repeats because we've got rectangle, pentagon, pentagon, rectangle, pentagon, pentagon, and then we've got rectangle, pentagon. What normally comes after the first pentagon? Oh yes, that's right, it's another green pentagon. Okay, number 2, continue the sequence. So is our sequence counting forwards or backwards? We've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Well, it's counting forwards, isn't it? Because we start with 3 and we end with 12, so the number is getting larger. Now, what is it counting up in? Well, what is the difference between 3 and 6? Yes, fantastic. There is a difference of 3. 3 plus 3 equals 6. And 6 plus 3 equals 9. And 9 plus 3 equals 12. So now that we know that it's counting forwards and in steps of 3, let's do 12 plus 3 to work out the next number. So 12 plus 3 equals 15. And 15 plus 3 equals 18. So there we go. We have completed the sequence by counting forwards in steps of 3. Now, number 3, what is the sum of 2, 3 and 8? Now, did you recognise the 2 numbers that I was talking about that jumped out at me? Oh, yes, you're right. They were 2 and 8. Now, why is this? Well, it is because 2 and 8 is one of our number bonds to 10, isn't it? So therefore, if we know 2 and 8 equals 10, all we need to do is add on the other number. So 10 plus 3 equals 13. Okay, fantastic. So well done if you got those right. Now let's move on to today's learning. And to do this, I need to unshare my screen with you. Okay, hello Year 2. So as I said, today we are looking at 3D shapes and we're going to be counting the faces on these 3D shapes. Now I know we looked at this a little bit yesterday, and anything that you learned yesterday will really help you in today's lesson. So let me lower my screen and we're going to be starting with our first shape. So our first shape today is going to be this one here. Now, we looked at this shape yesterday. Can you remember what it is called? It has flat faces, which are in a square shape. Can you remember? Ah, yes, it's a cube, isn't it? A cube has flat faces, which are in the shape of a square. So therefore, we have a cube here. Now, I am going to be counting the number of faces that this cube has. And to do this, I'm going to be using stickers. Okay, so when I count a face, I'm going to add a sticker to the face so that I know not to count it again. So let me start with my yellow stickers. So this is my first face. I'll add a sticker. My second face. My third face. My fourth face, let's keep turning it. Oh, no, I've already counted that face. So we've got 4 faces. Let's turn it this way. Got another face here. So that is 5 faces. And then have we got any more? Ah, yes, here. So 5 faces and 6 faces. Now let me just turn the shape around so we can see that I have counted all of the faces. Yes, I've counted all of the faces. And how many faces did I count? Well, yes, a cube has 6 flat faces, doesn't it? And I worked that out by adding a sticker each time I counted a face to make sure I didn't count it again. So there is our first shape. Now let's have a look at another one. So here we have another shape that we saw yesterday. Can you remember what this shape is called? Well, it's got a point at the top and it's got flat faces which are in the shape of a triangle, and it's got a flat face at the bottom which is in the shape of a square. Okay, so what was this shape called, Yeti? Yes, well done. It was a pyramid, wasn't it? So let me use my stickers again and count how many faces a pyramid has. So I'm going to put a sticker here for 1, turn it round, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, I've counted all of these faces, so I've got 4, but I know that there's a face at the bottom, a square face. So that gives me 5 flat faces. So there we go. A pyramid has 5 flat faces. It's got 4 around the side, and then it's got 1 square face at the bottom. Okay, so now it is your turn. I have sent you the nets for this shape, which we didn't look at yesterday, but it's called a triangular prism, okay, and also a cuboid. So I've sent you the nets for this shape so that you can create these shapes yourself. So if you have some scissors and some glue or some sellotape, you can make these shapes yourself. Okay, so you've got a triangular prism and you've got a cuboid. And what I would like you to do is make these shapes, and then once you've made them, can you count how many sides they have? Now, if you haven't got stickers, don't worry, because you can use a pen and just mark when you have counted a face on a shape. Okay, now also don't worry if you don't have any scissors or glue or sellotape, because you can use the nets that I've sent you to count the faces without actually having to make the shapes, but I thought it'd be a little bit of fun to actually make the shapes. Okay, so if you could pause the video now and count how many faces a triangular prism and a cuboid have. Okay, year 2, so have you counted the faces? Well, let's have a look. So let's start with this one here, the triangular prism. How many faces did you think that this shape had? Well, let me see. I've got 1 face here. And then I've got a face on the other side, I know. So 2 faces. I've got 3 faces. 4 faces. So I've covered all of the faces at the top. Yep, but I know that I've got 1 face at the bottom as well. So therefore, a triangular prism has 5 faces, just like our pyramid did. Okay, what about our cuboid? Well, let's start by adding our stickers. So we've got 1, flip it over, 2, 3, haven't counted that one yet, 4, we've counted that one though, so we've got all of these ones, all of the rectangular faces, which is 4, and then we can add another sticker here for 5, and then another sticker here for 6. Now, have I covered all of the sides? Well, I covered all of the ones here, and I've covered the 2 sides. So therefore, a cuboid has 6 flat faces. So well done if you got that right, that a triangular prism has 5 faces and a cuboid has 6, just like our square.